Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Rosie, and on this channel we talk about everything personal growth, from mindfulness to manifestation, psychology to spirituality. I bring it all together for you guys to help you raise your vibration and level up into the next version of your being. Happy 2020 guys. I'm so excited for 2020 and I hope you're really excited for 2022. It's going to be an amazing year. It's a year of clear vision. I already feel so many shifts happening in this year, and I hope that you have such an amazing, blessed year. If you are looking to manifest, align your goals, figure out what you really want, I just created an amazing journal. It's a 40-page journal, and it really helps you dive in and get clear on what you want in this year, on what you need to do energetically to align with it, and what you need to do physically to align with it. Everybody who's been getting it has been loving it. They've been telling me all the things that are already coming into fruition, and I'm so excited for y'all to continue to get this journal. It is $20.20. Of course, angel numbers literally is amazing. I've been doing it all week. My boyfriend and I did the relationship section together. It's just been super fun to get clear on my goals and understand like what I really want this year. So it walks through all 8 areas of life, and it's just super amazing. If you want to purchase it for $20.20, you can with the link below. You'll automatically get the document download, and then you can print it out and fill it out this way, or you can of course just do it on your computer if you want to do that too. Without further ado, let's jump into today's video, which is a question and answer. I asked you guys to ask me anything around my personal life, spirituality, personal growth on Instagram. If you do not follow me already, you can follow me there. I have so many different things on my Instagram, from personal life to like personal growth to how I eat to like so many just different things. And so my hope is that it's a place for you to get inspiration and just be around people that level up. Like, I know the people that I follow on Instagram, they really help me understand like who I want to become, and so I hope that I can do that for you. My life is Rosie. I just changed my name on Instagram from My Life is Roses to My Life is Rosie because I am changing my name. It sounds so funny to say, but my birth name is Rose. I always grew up with the name Rose. I've really liked it, but I'm changing it to Rosie, R-O-S-E-Y. And let me just talk about a little bit why I'm doing that, because it's probably like, seems like it makes no sense. I'm not like legally changing my name. I'm just like telling people I'm changing my name, that I want to be called Rosie instead, because I'm just at a point where I'm making like a huge, massive energetic shift in who I am as a person. And I'm leveling up to the next person that I am meant to be. And so I feel like energetically, Rosie really fits me because it's just all of the things that I'm becoming, and I'm a really tangible person. So it's really helpful for me to understand like the shift between Rose, which is like the habits that I'm releasing, the ways of thinking I'm releasing, all of the things that I'm releasing, and stepping into Rosie, which is like an empowered version of myself, right? The next level of myself. So I don't know, it's just like a weird thing. It just kind of came to me. So that is my new name. So if you know me in real life, this is gonna be really weird because I'm gonna have to be like, my new name is Rosie, but I don't know, it just feels really right. So there we go. I changed my Instagram name to, Cody literally just texted me and said, you changed your name on Instagram. I just changed it to My Life is Rosie, and so I'm really excited. I have a lot of things that still say My Life is Roses because that's what my, business has been called for a while. But I will be in the works of now switching it over to My Life is Rosie, which, if you don't know my business name, My Life is Rosie, I set that name because, one, it's just like so me. Roses, obviously, it's just like my spirit coming through and showing up. But My Life is Rosie is supposed to just represent optimism and everything that I believe in, which is that you're good enough, you're the creator of your life, like all of the things that I represent. I just feel like My Life is Rosie. My Life is Roses, what it was before, just represents that so well. So that's why I created that name. All right, today's video, I'm going to answer your guys' questions, and I'm looking at my laptop right now because I film on my phone, and so I just took screenshots of them. Okay. So the first question is how to deal with intrusive thoughts / feeling out of control. So there's a few things to do when you're having intrusive thoughts and feeling out of control. The first thing that I would suggest is just getting grounded. Like, when you're noticing that you feel out of control and anxious and stuff like that, you need to get grounded. So whatever feels good to you to get grounded. For me personally, Reiki is like the number one thing that helps me feel grounded. Being outside makes me feel so grounded. Silence, like turning off the music, turning off any noise, and just being in silence really helps me get grounded. So do whatever you need to do in the moment to release that sort of tension. And the second thing I would say, if you really want to heal this, if you really want to look at why you're feeling out of control, you need to look at the thought, and you need to, so I would just write down the thought, like what's the thought that keeps on happening, what's the feeling that keeps on happening, and then go into what it reminds you of, because it probably reminds you of something that has happened to you in the past that is not healed. And then you need to look at that and understand it and listen to it so you can heal it. Things come up because they need to be healed. Like, we have experiences and emotions that come up because they need to be looked at and healed. And if you're not willing to look at it and heal it, it's just going to keep coming up. The reason why it's coming up is because it needs your attention, because it hasn't been dealt with before. You can look at it, you can be gentle with it, you can get in a quiet space and be like, why is this coming up? Why does this thought keep coming up? Why does this emotion keep coming up in my life? And what is it reminding me of? What do I need to work through that I haven't worked through? And then you can start the process of really uncovering what's really going on. Because when we feel like we're out of control, and when we feel anxious, and when we have racing thoughts, there's so much more to it. There's so much more that's going on under the surface. But usually what happens is we don't look at it because it's too painful. And I get it. Like, I have spent most of my life avoiding because it's just so painful. But the real healing happens when you allow yourself to do the work and look at it dead in the eyes. So yeah, I hope that helps. Next question. Have you ever had an ego releasing experience? Well, that's a good question. Thanks for asking that question. I think that I've had a lot. It depends on what you consider an ego releasing experience. So ego is like such a huge, massive topic. And so I'm going to speak from first I'm going to tell you what like ego means for me. So ego for me means, when I say my ego, what I mean is the part of me that's in an illusion, that's in fear, the part of me that wants to cover up my wound, the part of me that doesn't want to be vulnerable. So that's going to look like the part of me that's like avoiding things, like using alcohol to cover up my insecurities, like just parts of us that are, it's like the Band-Aid effect. Like our ego, that's what I think of when I think of my ego, is like my ego like puts a Band-Aid on the wound so I don't have to look at it, and so that I don't have to be vulnerable in order for me to feel like better right in this moment. So that's what I think, that's what I consider my ego. So have I had an experience of releasing it? 100%. I think that's what personal growth really is. When you commit to personal growth, you commit to releasing your ego and really looking at the truth of who you are and what your wounds are. And it takes time to get there. Like, you can't just force yourself to be there. You really have to be willing to do it. And the biggest thing is surrendering. I think if you're ready to have an ego releasing experience for the right reason, like if you're really ready to change and make a difference in your life, and you're feeling stuck and you're feeling like something just won't budge and you just feel stuck and not good and you're just ready, like I would say surrender. I would say if you have a higher power, surrender with your higher power, like allow them to guide you. If you connect with angels or beings or plants or animals or whatever it is, surrender with them, have them help you surrender, and it will help you understand why this hard part is coming up, like why this has occurred to you. Why do you have the parents that you have? Why did you get addicted to this substance? Why did you fall into this habit? Like, why do you have anxiety? Like, once you surrender, you will understand why everything is happening. And so another word for surrender is just acceptance. Like, if surrender is too much for you, just deal with accepting what it is that's really bothering you. And from a place of acceptance, you'll let it go, because the resistance that we have to everything that's holding us back in life is what's holding us back. The resistance, it's not the actual thing. My resistance to, like, I dealt with this for a long time. I had a lot of resistance to being alone and loneliness. My loneliness was not actually what was holding me back. It was my resistance to it. It was all of the things I was doing to try and avoid feeling lonely. It was my clinging on. It was my avoiding. It was my habits. It was all of those negative habits that you could call it, or unhelpful habits that I was having, that was creating so much resistance in my life. And with all that resistance in my life, I could not possibly deal with my loneliness because I was avoiding it, because I was doing all of these different things. And so once you accept and you surrender to all of the habits that you have created in order to avoid your loneliness or whatever your wound is, you will actually be able to deal with the loneliness. You will actually be able to get comfortable with the loneliness, and it won't be as scary anymore. It's not actually the thing. It's not actually the loneliness. It's not actually like all of the other shit that we think it is. It's really our resistance and our fear and our projection that it's going to be really bad once we get there. Like, it's our like anxiety about it. It's not really the thing. And we can understand this and see this when we really start to sit in our pain. It totally and 100% starts to dissolve. Absolutely immediately. When you look at something dead in the eyes, when you look at your fear dead in the eyes, when you experience your fear dead in the eyes, you start to see how it transforms. And that in itself is an ego releasing experience. So look at your fears dead in the eyes. And I've done this a lot. I've recently started to do it a lot. Like 2019 has been a huge year of really looking at my fears and dealing with them and stopping the cycle of avoidance, distraction. Like, I played that game so fucking good for 23 years of my life, and then 2019 I was like, boom, done. I'm dealing with my shit. I'm clearing this shit. I'm moving forward from this shit. And so yeah, a lot of my ego releasing experiences happen in meditation, in my Reiki, like personally doing Reiki on myself, or like receiving Reiki from somebody else, journaling, yeah, all of those things. The last thing I'm going to say about this question is, when we first get into spirituality or personal growth, I think that there's this mystical illusion that we put on over having a spiritual awakening and having a big ego release. And I like fed into this for a long time. I thought that a spiritual awakening was going to be like me sitting down in meditation, some god or something coming down into physical form, talking to me and putting a spell on me to change me, and then I was gonna wake up from my meditation and I was gonna be a changed being. Like, I'm not kidding. I dead ass thought that that was what a spiritual awakening is, or an ego releasing experience is. That's not what it is. I know that that has actually happened to people, but that is not what it is like 99% of the time. What most people resonate with an ego releasing experience or a spiritual awakening, which is what I experience, is actually crying and releasing and having visualizations and going back in time and healing all the shit that really hurts. It's more about healing the past than like getting a sign or like someone coming down and like fixing you in an instance, because our personal growth is all about us doing the work. It's not about somebody else coming down and doing the work. It's not about one day we just wake up and we're changed, which 100% does happen. But for most of us, the work that we need to do is we have to do the work. We have to be empowered enough to do the work. We have to decide. We have to be determined. We have to be willing to do the work, because when we're willing to do the work, we learn the lesson that we need to learn, because for most of us, we're learning lessons of empowerment. And when somebody else comes down and switches us and changes us, that's not a lesson of empowerment. When we do it ourselves, when we get in the meditation ourselves, when we decide, when we open up and be vulnerable, when we're willing to look at the past shit, that's empowerment. And that is what most people experience or have experienced. That's definitely what resonates with me the most about my spiritual awakenings or my ego releasing experiences, is literally crying, bawling, sobbing, being a mess. Not just like to do it, but it happens because it's a massive, massive, massive release energetically. Okay, next question. Someone asked me, what would you change about yourself if you could? First of all, thank you for the question. And, you know, this might sound really cliche, but I don't think I would ever change anything about me, like in an instant. This kind of goes back to what I was just talking about. Like, there are things that I want to transform about myself 100%. I mean, I started this video saying how I'm coming into a new identity, which is changing parts of myself. But I think there's a difference between being like, oh, I really don't like this aspect about myself and I want to change it because I'm judgmental towards it. And then I think that there's an aspect of like, this part of me doesn't serve me anymore. What lesson can I learn from this? And how can I implement this part of me into the next version of myself? And so changing my name, a really big part of that is accepting all of the things that I have been. 100%, that's the first step. Acceptance is the catalyst to personal growth. And then from there, I can sit down and say like, okay, like I want to transform this habit into this habit. I want to transform this quality into this quality, and have very heartfelt intentions for it. When we just look at ourselves and we say like, oh, I hate this part of me, I hate this body part of me, I hate that I have this habit, I hate that I laugh this way, I hate that I look this way, and that's why I want to change, we are disowning a part of ourselves. And so I'm not saying that's what you're asking, but I'm just saying to get clear on where I'm coming from. I think that the lesson and the purpose of us being here is all about us doing the work to change and become empowered and grow through it, rather than just like waking up and being like, I don't like this part of me, I'm changing it, and like disowning the other part of me. You can 100% wake up and say like, I'm done. I did this habit, doesn't serve me anymore. I'm literally cutting it out cold turkey and I'm never doing this habit again. And I've done that before in my life. I did that with eating meat. I literally woke up the next day, I watched a video, I was like, this is not who I want to be anymore. I don't want to be someone who feeds into this cycle of killing animals and like all the things. And so the next day I woke up and I have never had meat ever since. So you can do things like that and make really quick changes. But I didn't do it because I hated a part of me that was eating meat. I did it because I saw that I no longer wanted to feed into this cycle, and I wanted to change the frequency that I vibrate on. So we have to meet ourselves where we are with acceptance, and then we have to have amazing good reason for wanting to change that. So I hope that answers your question. That also doesn't mean that I don't want to change anything about myself. Like, I'm not saying like, I love everything about myself. Like, I'm trying to love everything about myself. And there's definitely things that I'm critical about myself for, but there's nothing that I think I would just outright want to change, because everything about me is what makes me me. And if I just wanted to change aspects of myself, that's, like I said, it's disowning who I really am at my core. And the only way for us to feel truly fulfilled, satisfied, happy in life is for us to own who we are and step into who we really are, and not create an image of what we think we should look like, or not play into the role of what we think society thinks we should look like, right? So yeah, it's all about self-acceptance. All right, last question. Someone just asked me, do you ever feel like the universe is working against you? And if so, how do you cope with it? This is a really, really good question. I think for a long time, I felt that the universe was working against me because I was very confused about how the universe works. I didn't understand the law of attraction. I didn't understand that your beliefs create your reality. What you put out is what you get back. I didn't get that, and I thought like everything was just random and like it just didn't make sense. And so if you are feeling like the universe is working against you, I would suggest that you read a book about the law of attraction and you dive into it and you start to understand how the law of attraction has worked in your life in the past and how it's working in your life right now. I believe at a deep level that the universe is always, always, always working for us. However, that does not mean that it's always working for our ego. Our ego wants things right now. Our ego is very impulsive. Our ego is like kind of like a little baby, like it's very needy in this moment. And so that neediness in this moment is not always the best for us. And so sometimes we want something to work out a specific way, but the universe gives it to us a different way, or the universe doesn't give it to us. And I believe that it's always working for the greater good. I believe that it's always there to teach us a lesson. And when things don't work out the way we want them to, when we don't get what we want right away, or it happens a different way, it's a reroute, and there's always a lesson. And if you're having a hard time and feeling like the universe is working against you, really start to look at the lessons that the universe is trying to send you, because nothing is random in this world. Nothing is random. In every single opportunity that's coming to you is the chance for you to learn a lesson. So every single time something happens to you, especially in the times that you do not like it, like you can ask the question when things go really well. That's a really good place to do it too. Like, oh wow, I just manifested this thing so quickly. Ask why. Ask yourself why. Why? What was my frequency that I got to manifest this so quickly? How did I do this? And look at that. But when things are not working out for you, when you're not manifesting things, when you feel like the universe is working against you, ask yourself, why would this be happening? What would the universe be trying to teach me by not giving this to me right away? And listen for the answer. There's unlimited amounts of answers that it could be. And I can't sit here and tell you what the answer is going to be or what the lesson would be. It's really for you to look introspectively at. And so what I would say is there's mainly 2 different types of lessons that could happen if you're not manifesting what you want to manifest. So the first lesson is that it's not meant for you. This thing that you're wanting, this thing that you're pursuing is not meant for you. It's not going to help you. It's not going to aid you. There is a better thing. There's a better option. There's a better person. There's a better job out there for you. And your rejection, your non-acceptance to this thing, it's because there's a better way. There's a better thing. So that's the first one. The second thing is that your energy is not aligning with that of the thing. And it's your job to figure out which one of these answers it's not meant for me, or is it because I'm not aligning with it? So I'll give you an example right now. Well, I was looking at apartments to move into, and I had put in an application for this apartment and that I liked, and something had gone wrong with the application. So I had lost the room that I wanted and space that I wanted. The exact unit that I wanted I couldn't have it anymore. And so I was like talking to my dad about it, and I was like, okay, like I feel like we should just move on, and I feel like we should just look at different places and find a new apartment complex. Because I felt in that moment that the universe was declining me because it was trying to reroute me to something better that served me, like a different apartment complex. But then I got really quiet and I really listened, and I was like, well, maybe this is happening for a different reason. And my dad really inspired me in this. He was like, Rose, not everything works out in 2 seconds. Like, you need to give it another chance. You need to like keep looking and hope that this paperwork goes through, whatever the situation was. And I was like, okay. And so instead of going and looking at another option, I decided to do option 2, which is to stick with it and to make my energy align with that of which I desire. So keep the desire, right? But change my vibration. So the first thing that I said was to change your desire, to change what you want to be the outcome, to have it be a different job, to have it be a different guy, to have it be a different place that you want to move, whatever it is, and keep your same vibration. The second option is to keep what you want, but change your vibration so your vibration matches what you want. And in this case, I needed to change my vibration because what happened is the paperwork ended up going through. I ended up getting availability to a better unit that is the unit I'm living in now, that fits me so much better than what that unit was, because that unit wouldn't have fit me. And now everything worked out, and it's because I went with option 2 and I said, okay, I'm going to stick with this choice, but I'm going to change my vibration. So if you feel like the universe is working against you, pick one situation that you feel like it's working against you and really figure out if you need to change the desire because you need to focus on something else that's better, and like take the universe's signs of, no, this isn't the right direction. Or 2, which is you need to change your vibration and you need to stick with your desire, and you need to like push forward and be more determined and be more disciplined with your energy. So I hope that this video helped you. I know it's really long. I love you guys so much, and I can't wait to see you back for another video. If you want to manifest, if you want to align, if you want to find clarity, this journal is still available, and I hope you guys enjoy it. It's been so fun for me to make and to see you guys enjoy it, and for me to fill out on my own. So have a great day and a blessed 2020. I'll be back soon.